Valorant coach woohoojin got caught lying to his audience about his rank. Now obviously I'm a couple years late to the party here, but I wanted to make a video about this eventually at some point. I've just been so freaking busy, and I wanted to give my perspective as a fellow Valorant coach. Now if you're new to the channel, basically I'm a Valorant coach for almost 3 years now. I've been doing it yeah, I guess almost 3 years now, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, I was there when the entire ordeal went down with him getting exposed and then him issuing an apology. And I just want to give my perspective on the matter because I feel like some things were not taken as seriously as they should have been. So for some context, sorry. First off, this video is actually going to be part 2, or I guess episode 2 of me just flying around Valorant maps while I just talk about something random. It's not going to be in the title, but I figured to start this series, it's going to be like literally the second time I do this. So again, uncut, unedited, just completely raw content. So for some context, I actually really like woohoojin. I think that he provided a very, very great amount of value to the Valorant community. I also believe that if it wasn't for woohoojin, Valorant coaching would not be as popular as it is right now. And I also think that he helped tons and tons of lower elo players get out of hard-stuck rank. So yes, I actually genuinely do think that he did a very, very good service to the Valorant community. With that being said though, he has to be held accountable accordingly because you cannot just lie to your audience. Guys, integrity is the biggest thing, especially if you're going to be monetizing your audience. This is the part that I don't understand, is that a lot of his followers, they have this mindset where it's like, oh, well, he helped me, therefore he's not a bad person, or he helped me, therefore he's not a scammer. Now this is a very, very dangerous mindset to have because your experience is not always going to be everyone else's experience, first off, and just because you had a positive experience with someone doesn't suddenly make them not what they, have done or whatever crime they've committed. I'm not saying he committed a crime, but I'm just saying the reality of the matter is, if you lie to your audience, you claim to be a radiant level coach when in reality you're not, and then on top of that you are getting monetized by these same players that you're lying to. They are paying you money to watch more of your content, to consume more of your value, and all under this idea or this perception that you are a radiant level coach. You are effectively, literally just lying to your audience, right? And this is where integrity plays a key role. And for some context, I've been a coach for almost 3 years now, and I started coaching when I was an ascendant level player, and I was very open about that. And then eventually I hit immortal, got into the immortal ranks, which again, I was very open about. I'm an immortal level coach. And then eventually I went on to reach top 4,000 something in North America. And that's when I decided to completely stop playing Valorant and just focus fully on coaching players and coaching students. And this is why it's really important to be very, very open and honest about your rank, because I was very open and honest about my rank. And quite frankly, I'm very aware that if I were to go down the path that he went down and lie about my rank, I probably would have gotten 10 times more students, because then I can be speaking to students of higher elos as well and coaching them as well, and not just restricted to lower ranks. And just in general, it gives you even more, I guess, authority if you are a radiant level coach compared to an immortal level coach. But integrity is everything. I was always honest from the very beginning. And so looking at this situation where back then, even I looked up to woohoojin as a coach. I was like, wow, he's done his thing. He's built his brand. He's a radiant level player. But one thing that really didn't sit right with me when all of these accusations came out and, he got exposed and everything, was that I remember back when I used to watch his content, he used to have some specific videos where the intro was something like, look at my rank and look at your rank. And he was basically just like flexing how his rank is way higher than everyone else's, and kind of just putting down his students and making them feel bad for whatever rank they are, and kind of just building authority in that way, where it was like, you don't know what you're talking about and he does, right? And in my opinion, that always felt really wrong, because I feel like as a coach, you just have a lot of, I can't think of the term right now, a responsibility, right? If you're a coach, you need to be able to communicate with your students, not by just rubbing the authority in their face and being like, yeah, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, I'm a higher rank, blah, blah, blah. No, but coming across the right way, teaching them the right way, giving them value the right way. At the end of the day, we're all just normal people that play a game. That's it. Like, it's just because some guy spent more time on a game and now he's a higher rank doesn't make him any better than someone else who's a lower rank. If anything, the lower rank is better in the sense that they probably have more of a life outside of the game of Valorant, which inherently probably makes them better IRL. I don't know, right? Of course that varies. Like for example, I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete my entire life, and I would say that compared to most people that I guess play games, I'm kind of, in that section of things where it's like my IRL stuff is pretty well taken care of, or at least I try my best to. But anyways, we're kind of sidetracking here. So to kind of get back to the point, right? Having an ego as a Valorant coach is just completely wrong. Like, this is not right, guys. Come on. Like, you're a coach. You're supposed to be communicating with them. You're supposed to be passing on knowledge. So already that didn't sit right with me back then, but I didn't really think much of it. I was like, okay, whatever. He's a high rank. He's just flexing that he has a high rank. People do that all the time. It's okay, right? That was kind of my mindset, whatever the case may be. Didn't really think much of it. But then all of this exposing came out, and then I was like, wow, so not only did he lie about his rank, but he lied about his rank, and he was also having an ego about a rank that he wasn't even. So he had a fake ego? I don't know. I really don't know how that works, to be honest with you. But honestly, it's just really sad to see, because again, integrity is everything. And please, if you're a Valorant coach watching this and you are currently lying about your rank to your audience, just stop doing it. Trust me, in the long run, it's going to be better for your reputation. And on top of that, it's just going to make you more money anyways. Like, I get money is a big factor for a lot of Valorant coaches. And a lot of times when someone starts coaching in general, they really, really care about making money, right? And it makes sense. You want to make money, but you should never, ever throw away your morals, throw away your integrity. And if you don't have morals or integrity, then I don't know what to tell you, of course, but maybe you shouldn't be a coach if that's the case, But it should never get to a point where you just start scamming your audience, because how are you going to sleep at night knowing that you're just lying to your audience? Like, guys, listen, if you're an immortal rank Valorant coach, right, there is no reason for you to lie and claim to be a radiant rank. Like, there's not that big of a difference when it comes to the coaching aspect of things. Sometimes even I would argue that a lot of immortal rank Valorant coaches are even way, way, way better than radiant rank coaches, not just because they might, okay, for example, an immortal rank Valorant coach may not have as much knowledge as a radiant rank Valorant coach, but because he actually knows how to communicate the knowledge he has in the right way so that his students can actually understand and implement, that makes that coach 10 times more valuable than a radiant rank coach, right? So this obsession that a lot of coaches have with claiming, or I mean, I guess not a lot of coaches, that I guess woohoojin had with lying about his rank, I feel like it's kind of pointless, mainly because, again, it's not about the rank, it's about the coach. It's about the ability to impart knowledge the right way and also give value by actually building a routine around it. For example, that's what I do for all my students. Not only do I coach them on where they're going wrong, what they can do right, but I also give them access to all my routines, all my guides and everything, but then also personalized advice on how to actually take everything that they're doing wrong, all the bad habits, and change, how to actually create change, how to actually go about the right thing, implement the right routines, so that way they can get better at whatever thing that they're doing wrong. And so all this stuff really, really matters, guys. And yeah, I just wanted to give my take. Again, this is just a series where I just fly around and just talk about random things, completely uncut, completely unedited, and that's kind of my take. So I feel like the community didn't really hold him as accountable as I was going to expect. A lot of people were coming to his defense simply because they had a positive experience with his coaching. But I feel like that doesn't justify it, right? Like, just because you had a positive experience with someone, like, that's like me saying that, oh, my friend, he's a great guy. He's helped me a lot with this, and the third. Yesterday, it turns out he robbed somebody. And I'm like, no, he's not really a robber, because, he was a good guy. Like, we were chill. Like, we were all, he's not a robber. He's not a robber. There's no way. I mean, sure, he robbed someone, but that doesn't make him a robber, because I think he's a good guy, because I met him and he was chill and he provided value to me. That seems to be the position of a lot of people that were taken after this whole incident happened. And I just feel like it's just not right. You have to hold someone accountable. If they're going to scam, if they're going to lie, if they're not going to have integrity in their work, it's not right. And yes, he did apologize, which is amazing. I'm glad he did. And I think that everyone should take that same kind of, method if you do get exposed, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that he waited until he got exposed, the fact that he had to get exposed first for him to have to go ahead and issue an apology and come clean about his rank, I feel like, that does tell a lot, unfortunately. And again, I'm not someone who likes to put down other people ever. I really don't like to do that ever. I always try to keep things to myself, blah, blah, blah. But I really wanted to talk about this specific situation simply because, again, I'm a Valorant coach myself. And I do really, really think that he had a very, very positive impact on the community, but I don't think that exempts someone from being held accountable for whatever actions that they, did. And it's not even just about being held accountable. It's just about, taking accountability, if that makes sense, and other people actually, I mean, I guess holding accountable is the right term here, because you can't just claim that someone isn't something after they did something that would make them that specific something. So like, for example, if I were to make the crazy claim that he's a scammer because he scammed his audience by lying about his rank, people would probably come after me. Maybe his audience would come after me and say that, no, he isn't. But just because he provided value to you in other aspects doesn't suddenly mean that he didn't lie about his rank, that he didn't monetize his audience by lying about his rank. Now, of course, we could go in circles and be like, well, maybe, he could have still monetized his audience. Maybe he could have still gotten all the views if he didn't lie about his rank. Maybe, right? But the moral of the story is, or I guess the main focus point of the story is that he did lie about his rank, and that all you have to do is just be like, okay, he did lie about his rank. He is a scammer. Simple as that. But yes, he also did provide tons of value to the community. Yes, he was one of the best Valorant coaches at the time. And just overall, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm just like trying to get my point across. But it's hard to do so when you don't have a script or you're just like fully yapping off the top of your head and multitasking while flying around. Okay, the point is, guys, just have integrity in your work. Okay, everyone's going to appreciate you more. People are going to trust you more. Just have integrity. Like, for example, my coaching, I don't even like most of the stuff that I do. For example, I know there's a lot of coaches out there, they will like script out 10-minute long videos and they'll edit them to make them look really cool and try to sell you on their coaching. I used to do that, right? But then I realized all my students are just getting crazy freaking results inside of my program. Like, they are ranking up so freaking fast that why would I sell myself through a script, through editing and all that jazz, when I can just show you the results in my server? Like, that's all I do on Instagram, is I just post my results. Some people will be like, bro, you've been posting the same results for so many days. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just here to flex the results. That's it. I'm just here to show you that my students are winning. And if you want to start winning, if you want to start ranking up, if you want to get that level of advice, then you might as well join the coaching, right? Simple as that. So I guess my message to all Valorant coaches out there that are watching this: let your work speak for yourself, right? Build actual authority through your work, not through flexing your rank, because the reality is your rank as a Valorant coach does not matter as much as your, I guess, testimonials and your results that you're actually bringing your students. There could be a Valorant coach who's silver, for example, but if he's made more of his students reach immortal than you have, then that is going to be the main selling point for him, right? So focus on testimonial, focus on results, and focus on integrity. Please be as honest as possible. It's going to pay off in the long run, and it's just going to be 10 times more valuable to you and your brand, and just overall your community is going to very much appreciate that. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for this video. Do make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below on what you think about this situation and how you would kind of, I guess, approach the situation and whatnot. But anyways, I know I'm like, again, very, very late to the party here with this video, but I wanted to make it anyways, as a fellow Valorant coach's perspective. So yeah, that is all for this video. Okay.